We have what anyone would call a perfect married life, and most of the time it is. He is a doting, caring husband. We have seen ups and downs throughout our married life. Big things never came between us. Finances, religion, cultural differences, societal differences, politics, outlook towards life, all are in sync. We have built our life from scratch, with sacrifices made to get where we are. My husband has a bad childhood. Very few people know about it. His father died early, and then his mother and stepfather literally took him away from all family, abused him, tortured him. Short of literally unaliving him, they did all unimaginable things. He ran away as a teenager and somehow was able to be reunited with his grandparents. So he carries a lot of post-traumatic stress disorder from this. He told me all about his past when we got serious. I knew what he went through. He used to have insomnia, nightmares, and would retreat into his shell whenever he was in a bad state. He never went for therapy, despite me asking him to go for it many years ago. I told him I cannot be his emotional support beyond a limit, as it is literally out of my bandwidth and capacity to deal with such profound trauma. But he never went. Over the years, he blossomed, advanced in his career, found happiness, started working out, went on vacations, and genuinely emerged from his shell to interact with other people. So I let it go about therapy. He would still say that his past haunts him, but slowly it was becoming less intense. We may have small tiffs here and there, but probably 1 or 2 major blowouts in a year. Our major arguments have rather been resolved in a level-headed manner. Most fight triggers are rather trivial, and probably most couples do not even fight about them. He then goes inside his shell, and after about 2 days, he talks to me and we make up. He has told me his post-traumatic stress disorder flares up when we fight like that. Again, he did not want to do therapy. Since I have become perimenopausal, I have started getting anxiety and a feeling of doom. I have told him this. It's not him or our life, but that 1 week of my periods nowadays makes me apathetic about everything. He takes it personally, and even though I am getting help, it's going to take some time. He still takes it personally and complains that I am always in a foul mood and how I have lost the zest for my life. I said it's literally not in my control, and can I not have bad days? When you were in a bad mood for days, I would let you be, so why can't you extend the same to me? He sort of understands, makes plans to cheer me up, plans vacations, etc., but I don't think he fully grasps it and still complains. I feel as if I am not the happy, smiling wife, then I am not worth it for him. This has made me feel very bitter and resentful. Now to the main issue. We recently came back from an amazing vacation, had a great time, and were pretty tired by the time we landed. A long drive, a delayed flight, delayed luggage, etc., had made us both exhausted. We hailed a cab, he put in the luggage, and as he was about to leave, I called him back as my bag still needed to be put in the cab and the door was closing on me. Maybe the way I called him, or the tone or the pitch of my voice, I frankly have no idea what, made me stumble, and he also slipped and sort of twisted his ankle. Nothing dramatic, but stopping suddenly can make you feel unstable. Then he said, "Why are you being so impatient? Can't you be calm?" I was dumbfounded as I was not at all feeling anxious or anything. I just stood there not knowing what to say, and he then went to the other side of the cab to sit in and slipped twice again. He collected himself and then sat in the cab. He never fell, and I have no idea what happened in this 1 minute. He sits in and blames me for my impatience causing him to slip. I said it was all his doing. I never yelled or said anything that could make him slip. I dropped it as I did not want to escalate the situation in the cab. After reaching home, he again says, "You always do this, get impatient or anxious, and then stuff happens. You don't care about me or even say sorry." This made me extremely angry. In no way was it my fault, and I'm not going to say sorry when I did not do anything. I'm not saying I am a saint, but this particular instance just feels ridiculous. I said, "Okay, let's divorce then if I am always like this to you." We slept in separate rooms, and I knew he wouldn't be able to sleep well. So after a couple of hours, I tried to talk to him, and he just got very angry and asked me not to talk. After 2 days, he is now adamant not to talk and says, "Let's just divorce." I have told him before that ours is not a healthy marriage. At other times, he is love-bombing me, spending a good amount of hours cuddling, writing poems, and getting me gifts. And at other times, he does not let me go through emotional challenges or be myself, leading to blow-up fights. The highs are very high and the lows are very low. I have asked for marriage counseling for years, but again, he doesn't want to. I feel lost as to what this stupid fight is that is causing our divorce. I have voiced my concerns to him when we aren't fighting, but he never tells me anything. Only when we have blown up fights does he complain and say I always do it and I don't listen to him. But I told him that in the heat of the moment, I won't be able to listen. Let's just take a break, calm down, and then talk. As soon as the fight is over, he does not open up. Is this all post-traumatic stress disorder and abuse which is making him behave like two different people? I am not sure how to deal with it. Now, for a few comments before the update. Yes, I have felt this stonewalling for years, and despite telling him repeatedly, I cannot get him to go for therapy. But I am losing my patience, energy, and frankly speaking, my will to deal with it. It's not desperation, but my love for him that is making me want to still try. I am at the end of my rope here, though. Now for the update. A month has passed since the argument over the bag incident escalated. Yeah, a month. A month of silence, avoidance, and walking on eggshells. We've mostly been just coexisting in the same house. Like if I'm home, he's not, and vice versa. It's like we put up these invisible walls around us, and honestly, it's exhausting. The only time we really interact is when he's grabbing his stuff to go to work, or when I'm making enough noise to wake him up. He's been staying late at work more frequently. I mean, he always worked late, but now it's like he's actively trying to avoid being home. I can't blame him, really. Home isn't exactly a welcoming environment, but still, it stings. I never thought we'd be in a place where being home together feels like a punishment. The other day, I got a notification from his Google Calendar. Yeah, I know, a little invasive, but come on, it's been a month of this. Anyway, the notification was for a support group for PTSD, a support group he never told me about. I didn't even know he was looking for one. I mean, I knew he had issues, but this was like a whole other level. I asked him about it. He got defensive right away. Like, really defensive. I tried to express my concern, but anytime I bring it up, it's like talking to a brick wall. He just shuts down and gives me one-word answers. This group has been so important to him, and I'm out here finding out about it from a calendar notification. I asked him why he didn't feel comfortable telling me about it, and all he said was that it was his journey. His journey? What about our journey? Family members have started to notice the tension between us during gatherings. It's awkward, to say the least. My family has always been close, but now it's just uncomfortable. At a family dinner for my brother's birthday, the awkwardness was pretty much obvious. My husband was so distant, sitting all the way at the end of the table like he was trying to put as much distance between us as possible. I tried to engage him, but he was only giving short responses. Our younger sister even asked if everything was okay between us, which he just brushed off. I think she could sense my frustration because she gave me a look that said, "What the heck is going on with you two?" The dinner ended with him storming off after another argument. I could see my family members looking at me like they wanted to ask questions, but I just smiled and said everything was fine. The truth is, everything is not fine. A few days later, he suggested we meet for coffee. It was a little random, but I agreed. At the coffee shop, we were able to discuss our relationship in a civil manner. I was shocked. It's been so long since we've had an actual conversation where we didn't end up yelling at each other or giving each other the silent treatment. Over coffee, he told me he's been considering separation as a serious option. He said he felt trapped. I tried to explain my perspective on our struggles, but he just listened without really responding. I could tell he was thinking, but he didn't say much. He just kept saying he felt trapped, which I get, but I feel trapped too. We're both stuck in this cycle of blame and resentment, and it feels like we can't get out. We agreed to continue discussing our situation, but made no promises of working on the deeper issues. Honestly, I'm scared to even touch the deeper issues. Right now, we're just trying to survive in this marriage. While we were talking, I noticed his phone buzzing constantly. He kept checking it, and I could tell it was distracting him. He finally excused himself to take a call outside, and I just sat there, feeling uneasy. After he returned, he seemed agitated and distracted. It was like whatever was going on with that call was weighing heavily on him. We parted ways without any real resolutions or plans for the future, just more uncertainty. Edit. A week after our coffee meeting, my husband suggested we go for a walk. He was acting strange, but agreed to go. During the walk, he opened up about the support group. He mentioned feeling understood and accepted. He also said he was thinking about going regularly. Later, I noticed him getting a text during dinner. He seemed anxious, but didn't say anything. The next day, he came home early. I sensed something was off, but didn't press him. Am I the idiot for dumping my bodybuilding boyfriend after he ignored me and flirted with another woman? I need advice because I feel so stuck. I am in a 2-year relationship. He is my second boyfriend, and I have no experience in any breakups because my first boyfriend sadly passed away. I am a 22-year-old woman, a daughter of a wealthy family, and I am studying at a prestigious university. I have past education from other countries and have visited 12 countries. I am working online while studying and creating a network. He is a 26-year-old man and is a son of a casual family. He has no proper university education, lives with his parents, and sells bodybuilding drugs and programs for a living. He did not visit abroad and didn't have a passport before I took him to Sweden. I'm not saying these things to degrade him in any way, just so you can have an idea about us separately. I loved his heart. So here is the problem. In our first year of the relationship, everything was awesome. I loved him so much, and he loved me very much too. We were always together nearly 6 to 7 times a week. He dressed nicely and took me to places. He was always texting and calling because he missed me. After this first year, I needed to go to Sweden for 7 months. We always trusted each other and never ever cheated. At least I didn't. I'm not sure about him, but I will get there. In those 7 months, I visited him every 2 months, and I bought him a passport and paid for his visa so he could come to Sweden to visit and see another country for the first time. He stayed for 2 weeks in Sweden. He worked a job when I was gone, and the economic crisis became so bad. In those 7 months, we didn't argue or fight and always called each other every day. We supported each other and slept together through video calls. We missed each other, and that was it. Then I returned to my country. Everything was amazing. We were together nearly every day, like in the old days. Our bond strengthened, but everything started to fall apart 3 months ago, 5 months after I came back. He started to work as a bodyguard in a huge cafe. In the meantime, he started to use bodybuilding drugs for a competition. I was with him at his first competition and always backed him up, helping him financially and mentally. 3 months ago, I realized that something was wrong because he gradually became colder and we were only seeing each other a maximum of 2 times a week. I started to count how many times we were meeting. I didn't set up any dates to see what he would do and saw that in a whole month, he only met with me 3 times. We only went to the gym and had coffee. That was it. He was not calling or texting me as often. I tried to respect his hustle, but it's unfair. If he wanted to, he would meet me more and at least call me. Then I started to realize he is really changing, and he understood that I loved him for his heart and not his actions. So, he started not caring much about giving me any attention. I tried to see him, but he is never available for me. He only meets with his friends. He forgot our anniversary. He forgot my birthday. He didn't properly celebrate anything. He didn't care about Valentine's Day, and I always celebrated these events. I bought him a very special t-shirt and pants set that he always wanted, but they are so expensive and not sold in our country. I just wanted to make him happy, and I spent all of my earnings for the month. And he said, "No one ever celebrated my birthday, so I don't care about birthdays." And he has never celebrated or bought any presents ever. He never got me anything. No flowers, no presents, never mind. Now it's nearly August. It's been 3 to 4 months since I realized his behavior. He hasn't tried to fix anything. No attention, no taking me out for dinners, nothing. Only meeting twice a month to go to the gym, but texting a bit every day to inform me about his whereabouts. He is now in another city to relax his mind with his male cousin for about 2 weeks. He is acting a bit weird. His last scene on WhatsApp suddenly went off, and when I asked him, he played dumb and turned it back on. He told me, "I will text you back at night," but he said this at 3 p.m. and gave no explanation. When I called, his phone was on silent, and yesterday I thought to myself, enough. I don't need to keep up with his behavior. I don't deserve this treatment. Then he randomly texted me, "I will turn off my internet. I will read some books. I'm at home, cousin's house, bye." He never reads books. Then suddenly, he is gone for 2.5 hours, and his phone is completely turned off or on flight mode. I think he is cheating on me. I don't have any proof, but I don't want to see anything. I'm done for real. I don't think I have any love left for him. I'm just sad. And yesterday I texted him, "Don't text or call me until you come back to my city." I'm done. Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. That's my dream breakup. I really hope he will let go of me. Thank you very much, and you are absolutely right. Now for the update. I know I've been quiet for a while, but honestly, I've just been focusing on myself. It's been over 2 days since I sent that breakup message. The second I hit send, I felt so relieved. I started going to the gym, catching up on my shows, just trying to get my life back on track. I even started making a list of everything I want to do now that I'm single and ready to mingle. Haha. So a friend of mine reached out, asking if I could help her plan her birthday party at a local venue. I mean, of course, I said yes, because who doesn't love planning a party? I agreed and spent hours picking out decorations, organizing food, the works. Honestly, it was just the distraction I needed. The day before the party, I got a text from my boyfriend asking if we could talk when he returned. I just straight up ignored his message and continued planning the party. Like, what did he expect? He thought he could just ghost me for months and then expect me to be available whenever he wanted? Yeah, no. The party day arrived, and I was busy setting up when I noticed a familiar face walk in. And there's my boyfriend, looking all surprised to see me there. He's trying to act all casual, but I could tell his eyes were scanning the room, probably looking for this new girl or whatever. I introduced him to my friend, and he was polite, but I could sense this awkward vibe. During the party, I overheard him talking to someone else, a woman I didn't recognize. They were laughing and looking way too comfortable with each other. So I walked over and asked him who she was. He stammered, saying she was a friend from the gym. Yeah, right. I didn't buy it for a second. I told him I needed some air and stepped outside, trying to collect my thoughts. My friend followed me outside, concerned about the situation. We talked, and she encouraged me to gather more information. I decided to go back inside, ready to confront him again. I watched him across the room and saw him whisper something into the woman's ear. He leaned in closer, and I noticed they were holding hands. I was so mad at this point. I walked straight over to him, pointed out how he had completely ignored me and our relationship. He tried to brush it off, saying it was just a friendly gesture. I raised my voice, causing a few heads to turn. The woman looked confused, and my boyfriend looked embarrassed. I told him I knew what was going on, and I wasn't going to let him disrespect me. He finally admitted he had been seeing someone else. I wanted to slap the smug look off his face, but settled for giving him a piece of my mind. The next day, I decided to get back at him. Oh boy, did I have fun with this one. I posted a series of photos from the party on social media, highlighting our time together. My boyfriend saw the post and reached out, furious about my public display. Like, sorry, not sorry. I told him he needed to deal with the consequences of his actions. He tried to blame me for his behavior, saying I was distant while in Sweden. Really? You're going to use that excuse? I reminded him that I had supported him while he was busy with competitions. I was there for him when no one else was. The last message I sent him was clear. I was done, and he should focus on his new relationship. Edit. It's been a few days since the party, and I've been getting a lot of questions. To clarify, I had already suspected cheating before the party, which is why I was so upset. I didn't plan on confronting him at the party, but seeing him with another woman pushed me to do it. As for the public post, I really wanted to make him feel the consequences of his actions, and it felt good to be in control. I'm now focusing on myself and feeling much better. Am I the idiot for staying with my cheating partner even after he body shamed me and flirted with a younger woman at his birthday dinner. We have been together for 8 years in a really convoluted relationship. We lived together for 2 years, and I moved out 4 years ago when I found out he had cheated on me. When I moved out, I was heartbroken, but resolved to have a better life. Well, that didn't happen. 4 years on, and I'm still seeing him every week. We still have so many issues and gradually a nearly dead bedroom over the past 4 years because the trauma of infidelity was never properly dealt with. From the time I met him 8 years ago, he was my drug. I craved his attention, and when we were apart, I would feel so empty. Now, I'm really struggling with this. When we are together, I don't have a particularly good time. It's not sexy anymore at all. It's not usually very fun. We have a lot of issues. But when I put distance between us or think about breaking it off, I seem to forget how unfulfilled I am when I'm with him. Even when I try to distract myself, I get increasingly depressed. I'm also wondering if I should just accept what we have and do my best to make it work. I'm very middle-aged. I don't have a great job, and where I live, there is so much competition that it's kind of a wonder I have a job at all. I'm overweight, likely a combination of depression and menopause, and I'm very well aware that I'm not overly attractive to men. Nobody ever pays me any attention. I am also somewhat disabled due to a bad back, so a lot of activities are out of the question. I have an 18-year-old son who just left for college, so I'm literally all alone in an apartment now. My partner is the opposite of me, well-off, charismatic, with lots of admirers. So if I try harder to make it work, at least I won't be alone. I know things aren't good between us, but I admittedly could try harder. For the record, in case anyone thinks I'm using him, I have been very, very good to him, especially when we lived together. I looked after so much, and I adored him. I strongly doubt that at this point I'd be able to meet anyone else. I hear so many other women who are younger and prettier and have better jobs and lots of hobbies lament about how they can't find anyone, so I don't think I would have a chance. And I do love him, even though we have so many difficulties. I just wish he was kinder to me. He has a lot of anger issues and tends to lash out. Do I need therapy? After another fight where he body shames me or treats me with disrespect or whatever else happens on a nearly weekly basis, I am resolved that I need to leave him. And I mean to. And then I just feel increasingly empty and scared and end up going back. Please give me some advice. Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1, yes, you need therapy. You need to learn to love yourself. Until you love yourself, no one else will truly love you. It's honestly that simple. People recognize self-hate, self-doubt, low self-esteem. Call it what you will. People recognize it the same way they recognize self-confidence, and they will treat you the same way you treat yourself. Now for the update. 3 days after the last fight, I get a text from my partner inviting me to his birthday dinner at this popular local steakhouse that everyone loves. I'm sitting there like, do I really want to go? But you know what? I thought maybe this could be our chance to reconnect, so I decided to just go and attend. I got dressed, tried to look somewhat decent, and headed out. So I get there, and it's this whole thing with his friends and family. The place is packed, the drinks are flowing, and there's all this laughter and toasting going on. I couldn't help but feel a little out of place, like I was in this weird sitcom where everyone was in on the joke but me. Then during one of the toasts, one of his friends makes this comment about how my partner has always had a thing for younger women. Oh boy, did that make me stiffen in my seat. I brushed it off, acting like it didn't bother me, trying to stay engaged in the conversation, but inside, my mind was racing. As the night goes on, I start to notice him flirting with this younger woman at the table. I mean, really flirting. This woman is his coworker, and they have this inside joke thing going on that I just can't shake. It's like they're in this little world of their own, and I'm just this outsider. After dinner, we all go out to the parking lot, and I confront him about it. I'm like, what was that? And he just brushes it off, saying she's just a friend and that he was merely being friendly. Yeah, right. The next day, my sister calls me and she's like, you'll never believe who I saw out at the bar last night. Of course, it's my partner, and she mentions that same younger woman was there too. My heart just drops, and I text him asking about it, but he doesn't respond for hours. When he finally does, he claims they were just having drinks after dinner and that nothing happened. Nothing happened? I need some clarity. So the next day, I decide to visit his workplace to see if that woman is there. I don't see her, but I overhear some coworkers gossiping about my partner's charm. One coworker even mentions his reputation for being flirtatious. Oh great, that's just what I needed to hear. Later that evening, we have dinner at my apartment, and I'm trying to bring up the topic again. He gets all defensive, claiming I'm being paranoid and that our relationship is the most important thing to him. Yeah, and he's the king of France. The conversation escalates into this huge argument, and I just storm out of the room. A few days pass, and my son calls from college. He's like, "Hey, how are you doing? Have you seen Dad lately?" I mention our recent fights, and he suggests having a family dinner to ease the tension. I think it might be a good idea, so I invite my partner to a dinner at my apartment the following weekend. So the dinner rolls around, and my son brings up how he's excited to see us both working through our issues. My partner responds positively, but I can't help but notice he seems distracted by his phone. That night, after my son leaves, I ask my partner if everything is okay. He casually mentions he's been busy with work and needs to focus on some upcoming projects. Right, because that's all he does these days. I catch a glimpse of a text on his phone from that younger woman, but he quickly puts it away like I didn't see anything. Yeah, okay. A few days later, I attend this charity event that my partner is also going to. I see him chatting animatedly with that younger woman again, and I'm just over here like, am I invisible or what? They're laughing, leaning in close, just living their best lives. After the event, I overhear them making plans to meet again, but I pretend not to hear it. Back at home, I'm just done. I decide to take a break from our routine and focus on me for a change. I start attending this local art class to meet new people and explore my interests. One evening after class, I run into this old friend who invites me to a gathering at their house. I think, why not? I could use a change of scenery. So I go to this gathering, and it's actually nice. I meet a few new people, and the relaxed atmosphere is just what I needed. Edit. This is a long one, so bear with me. For the gifts, I said no. For the flirting, he brushes it off as being friendly. For the dinner, my son insisted. For the gathering, I finally did something for me. For the future, I'm focusing on myself and my happiness. If you like this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.